One and hi again, fans, and welcome to another action-packed, exciting episode of the Smoky Mountain Rewatch Along Project. This is podcasting the way it used to be and the way you like it. This show is a production of the Something Else Podcasting Network, and it is episode number 112 of Smoky Mountain Wrestling from March 19th, 1994, tape March 7th, 1994, at the Dungannon Elementary School in Dungannon, Virginia. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, is the fire to my brimstone. It's Trae. Trae, how the hell you doing today?
Not too bad. We were talking off air. My adorable baby kitten has ringworm, and we've had to isolate him, and everybody is very unhappy about it. But other than that, we're doing all right.
hmm Technically, we were talking about it so off air that it wasn't even on the non-recorded pre-show. It was on Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was very off air.
Yes. Um, by the way, and trans people problems here, people. So, thanks to a healthy dose of estrogen, I don't have hair growing at all below the neck, like at all. However, since I specifically mentioned below the neck, that means I have to shave my face still. And at this point,
Uh,
I really only have to do it like once every 3 or 4 days, which still sucks, but you live and you learn, you move on with it. And so
yeah.
today I was getting ready to go to Silent Book Club after work and I was feeling a little fuzzy. So I'm like, I'm just gonna quickly shave and call it a day. This was at 5:30. I nipped my mole on the side of my face. And
Oh.
moles
Mm,
like to bleed.
mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
I have bled once or twice from my mole before. And usually I just like jam some toilet paper up against it for a couple seconds and it clots. And it's all good. Move on with my day. Well, this shit was not clotting. And I was like,
Mm.
a good 5, 10 minutes, I'm like going through a lot of fucking toilet paper. If you looked in my toilet, it was insane. So I'm like, you know what?
Oh.
The other thing I do when push comes to shove, and I know I'm trying to run out the door, well, let me take a quick shower. Like, a hot shower will clot it up, and it's usually good. So I jump in the shower, get it nice and hot and steamy, and it still didn't fucking clot. And so at this point, it's now pushing 6 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, fuck Silent Book Club at this point. I need to start questioning, like, how, like, go to the fucking hospital, like that kind of thing. Like, this
Virgil.
was fucking bleeding. But
Yeah.
eventually it stopped. I'm like, okay, great. So it stopped bleeding. I get out the door. I go to Silent Book Club. On the way home, I decide, you know what? Everyone was talking about ice cream, and you can't talk to a fat person about ice cream without them wanting to have ice cream. So I
This is
stopped at
true.
McDonald's. Yes, I stopped at McDonald's and got a McFlurry. And by the way, the McFlurry
What
machine
kind?
not broken. Oreo.
What? Okay, have you tried? Because I think we talked about it. Have you tried the Hershey S'mores McFlurry?
I think that's too chocolatey for me because I'm
Okay,
not a huge
I
chocolate.
fucking love it. Okay, I'm a chocolate head and I love it.
Well, so I go there and I'm like kind of like putting because like the fucking line, there was like only 3 cars ahead of me, but it took like 20 minutes to get to the fucking line. So I'm like kind of sitting there with my fist propped up on my chin, and I can feel something on my mole, and it felt very movable and pull offy. Well, it turned out that it wasn't so much that I clotted up my blood, but I must have stuck a small square of toilet paper in the exact right position because it was now ready to come off. I'm like, okay. So I peeled it off and I just kind of flung it out the window. And I'm like, okay, well, that's that. And I kind of look at my mirror and I'm like, oh, don't fucking tell me. Sure
Oh
enough, I
God.
started bleeding again.
Mm, oh.
Yes. And so literally it is now 9:15. I was bleeding until about 8:45. When
Wow.
tap on wood,
Okay.
it has come to an end.
Okay. Scientific question.
Okay?
Why does the estrogen make hair stop growing like below the neck but not on the face?
I don't know, but I know that it's not incredibly common because not all trans people have that.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't say I'm the only person, but the other trans people I know, I'm the only one that has this issue is a strong word, but has this delightful side effect.
Yeah, I actually have the opposite going on. I have very unapologetically because I think it's very important for men to take care of their health. I am on testosterone replacement therapy, and one of the effects is that I was a pretty hairy guy anyway. I am a very hairy man now.
So in other words, you're telling us is you would fail a UFC drug test right now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Although I guess you do. Oh well, you have to take the
I
top
do have an
testosterone
exemption
use
though.
exception.
Yeah, I
Fair.
do have a medical exemption. But I can't
Um,
imagine a scenario that would have me taking a UFC drug test. I don't know
but
if certain people wanted to throw down, but I wouldn't do it under I would find something I would find somebody other than Dana White to promote it.
what if Brock threatened you and wanted you to piss in a cup for him?
Um like over the phone or
I don't care if it's over the phone. I think if Brock threatened me and told me to piss in a cup for him, even if it was over the phone, I'd be like, "Where would you like me to go piss in a cup for you, Brock, Mr. Lesnar, if you will?"
yeah, that's probably fair.
Um, this is gonna be like the greatest opening of the show ever.
This is even by our standards, this is off a fucking rail really early.
All right. So Smoky Mountain number 112, March 19th, 1994. We are at the final TV taping for Dr. Dirty Dutch Mantel.
Oh, but hey, uh, we're getting a proper farewell. The signs were back.
Yes. Yes. Let's go to the intro of this week's show with Bob and Dutch for the next to last time.
Now with Smoky Mountain Wrestling, professional wrestling the way it used to be and the way you like it. Hi, wrestling fans. I'm Bob Cole along with Dr. Dutch Mantel. And Dutch, I got that right this time. Hey, we got a great hour in store for all you wrestling fans. The Thrill Seekers, they got to be making their debut right here live this week on Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Hey, April 1st is drawing closer every day, Dutch, and the Heavenly Bodies or the Rock and Roll. One of those two teams will be leaving Smoky Mountain Wrestling after the Bluegrass Brawl. Also, fans, this week our TV main event, it's going to be a ladder match where we got Tracy Smothers against Chris Candido. Now, what about Down and Dirty, Dutch?
Okay, my special guest today on Down and Dirty, the First Lady of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Tammy Fitz with Prime Time. Brian Lee will be my special guest. But now let's talk about Beat the Champ contest. I always draw the name, our champion, Killer Kyle, and today...
Dutch, hey, you amaze me there, guy.
The name I draw right now to face Killer Kyle, right there, what's that say?
Mike Furnas.
Mike Furnas facing Killer Kyle today, fans. Don't go away, a hot show today.
All right now, let's go to the ring, fans.
All right. So today, Trae, the Thrill Seekers are making their long-awaited Smoky Mountain debut. It's been a long time since we saw Pam Lawson staring at the back of Jericho and Lance's head.
Uh, do you think Horner was staring at the back of Pam's head right after that?
Maybe the top of her head.
Oh, yeah, well.
Yes. Um, so Bob Caudle made an interesting point. April 1st is getting closer every day. And he's got a point, no matter
It
what day of
is.
the year it is, April 1st is getting closer.
It depends on which April
Yeah.
1st, though, because the last April 1st is getting further and further away.
That's very true. I guess, it depends on your viewpoint of the thing. And then today we're gonna get Tracy Smothers versus Chris Candido in a ladder match on March 19th, 1994. And some people out there understand why I'm saying March 19th, 1994 like that, while talking about Tracy Smothers versus Chris Candido in a ladder match. Plus we're gonna have Primetime Brian Lee and Tammy Fitch on Down and Dirty. And then Beat the Champ, Killer Kyle versus Mike Furnas. Or as I wrote here, what the hell did we do to deserve this?
Or as I wrote, LOL, Mike Furnas, are you fucking serious?
Oh, Lord. And we'll get to that in about 20 minutes, maybe.
By the way,
El Hijo,
I just looked up the date to confirm while you were emphasizing March 19th, and wow, it's closer than I thought.
yes, it is insanely closer than you thought. Um, so we go to our opener, El Hijo del Santo versus Bobby Blaze. And there's something about this match I did not realize until Trae was nice enough to point this out to me earlier. Trae, care to share what's so important about this opening match?
Okay, let me bring up my Smoky Mountain Wrestling results once. Okay, sorry, I had to cough. Okay, I'm gonna read the results from the opening match of this week's Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Okay, Bobby Blaze defeated Larry Santo in 2 minutes and 15 seconds by pin with a Northern Light suplex hold rather.
Nice.
Now I'm gonna read the opening match result from last week. Bobby
This
Blaze
was
defeated
March
Larry
12th.
Santo in two. Bobby Blaze defeated Larry Santo in 2 minutes and 29 seconds by pin via Northern Light suplex hold.
Hey, he's getting better at beating Larry Santo.
But apparently, looking at my ratings here, apparently I thought that extra 14 seconds was worth a whole half a star.
Wow. Wow. I got to tell you, Bobby Blaze and Larry Santo not fighting for star ratings here.
I got to tell you though, if they're doing a best of seven series, Larry Santo needs to get on the ball because he's down two
Yeah,
now.
yes, yes. This is like, who was it that was wrestling last year? Like in an unofficial best of seven series, and then they realized they were wrestling so often they just made it a best of seven series. Like, wasn't it like Andrade and Carmelo Hayes?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, During the match, by the way, I didn't really make note of this, but during the show, Dutch was making things interesting with an asterisk by scoring the moves, like, figure skating judges because the Olympics just
Uh-huh.
ended.
Uh-huh.
I I didn't really he didn't care for any of Bobby Blaze's moves, even though despite a very low score, his Northern Light suplex still won the match.
Putting
Uh,
those little numbers on the screen had to have taxed the very limits of Smoky Mountain Wrestling TV production.
that production company that Horner found in Knoxville. Um,
Yeah.
then okay, during this match, Bob Caudle announces that at the Bluegrass Brawl, Jim Cornette would wrestle Bullet Bob Armstrong, or will wrestle Bullet Bob Armstrong in a handicap match, whatever that means. Did Bob Caudle not like notate like the last 6 months of handicap matches involving
Okay,
Jim
okay,
Cornette and
I'm gonna defend America's Grandpa Bob Caudle here, okay? Because many years ago, I acquired a compilation tape of William Regal matches, and some of the things that it had were some of the very early World of Sport matches. And
okay.
his actual first televised match was billed as a handicap match, but it was because of like based on the scoring system, like I think like it was called a handicap match because like, it was 2 out of 3 falls, but he was spotted a fall or something like that. So maybe Grandpa Bob had been watching some World of Sport tape and gotten confused.
There you go. Or maybe there's
Yeah.
some weird ass gimmick that's still to come in this feud. It's not even never, it's not never ending yet, although we're approaching the 1 year mark. Um, we're gonna really feel the never ending part next year. Believe you me.
I'm
Um,
already confused about what happens next year.
Jim Cornette versus Bullet Bob Armstrong.
Yeah, but in a weird way.
Well, basically, this feud is going to continue pretty much till the very end of the promotion. And anyway, we'll get to it later because you may question yourself. You're like, you said this was a handicap match. What is the deal? Well, we'll get to it later because they did not tell us who Jim Cornette's partner would be. And we're going to acknowledge that later here on the program. From here, now that Bobby Blaze has won, are we going to get a promo from Bobby Blaze? Fuck no. We got one from Bullet Bob Armstrong. Let's go to Bullet Bob.
Dutch, you're right, 100% right. And again, Commissioner of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Commissioner Bob Armstrong. Let me say, I know all the fans are glad to have you back, and we're glad to have you back.
Well, it's good to be back, and you know, I got some important announcement here. Everybody's talking about the big cage match, loser leaving Pikeville on April 1st. Yeah. But you know, I couldn't sit back. One of these teams is going to leave. Now I've got contracts signed for the rest of the month of April. So what I've done is I've appointed alternate teams. Should the Rock and Roll Express lose, then their alternate team will be the Thrill Seekers, or they'll fill the rest of their contracts. Should the Heavenly Bodies lose, their alternate team will fill the rest of the contracts, will be Brian Lee and Chris Candido. So it's going to be a big day. It's April Fool's Day, and who knows who's going to come out on top.
Well, one of those teams definitely going to lose. That's right.
Somebody's going to lose and somebody's going to leave. One thing I want to tell you about, though, Bob, I'm personally involved there in Pikeville on April the 1st. I've got to wrestle Jimmy Cornette and his Mystery Man. I've done everything I can to find out who the Mystery Man is. Nobody knows. The board of directors doesn't know. Nobody knows who the Mystery Man is. He brought in Terry Funk. We took care of him. He brought in Captain Red Dick Murdoch. We took care of him. And now he's got the Mystery Man. Well, I just want to tell Jim Cornette this. I'm not afraid of whoever you bring in, because in a handicap match, I have to wrestle 2 men. One of those times, I'm going to get my hands around his throat, and I'm going to squeeze him so hard both of his ears may fly off. And wouldn't it be fun in Pikeville on April Fool's Day to wave bye-bye to 4 fools? Both of the Heavenly Bodies, Jimmy Cornette and his Mystery Man. I wouldn't miss it for the world. I'll be there with bells on, Bob.
All right, and we will too. Commissioner Bob Armstrong, thank you so much. Fans, we're going to be back. We'll have more action right after we take.
What exactly does Bullet Bob have against the Heavenly Bodies?
Association.
Well, that is terribly unfair. But speaking of unfair, you know, the alternate teams that will get a tag team title match, depending on who loses this match, are either the Thrill Seekers, who've never had a match on TV until about 20 minutes from now, or Chris Candido and Brian Lee, who are in a very loose scumbag alliance at the moment. Why are they getting a tag team title match?
I was actually surprised that they said Lee and Candido instead of Well Done.
Honestly, I started writing Well Done. I had to X it out.
Yeah. But don't
And I
forget
wrote
the important thing you need to remember. Commissioner Armstrong, he's got the tie on again, but it's a clip on. It comes right off.
I did, like, I started scratching my head because they were like introducing Bob Armstrong as the commissioner. I'm like, he's been fucking commissioner for a month now. Then I'm like, oh yeah, the last TV taping was taped before Sunday Bloody Sunday. Yeah. Even though, you know, they gave away all the results.
Yeah.
All right. So from here, Trae went through puberty for a 3rd time because they had a recap of the shocking incident from last week where Tammy showed the world dirty white girl's bra. And I gotta tell you, Trae, it's like the ugliest bra, and I guess, and this is gonna sound mean, but it's like it's an appropriate bra to be worn by the dirty white girl. It's not a sexy bra at all in any way.
Look, I married a woman with certain endowments that makes the quote unquote sexy bras difficult to find. So I'm not real hard to please.
Well, that's good then, I guess. Um, I don't even know how to respond to that. Um, so speaking of white girl and white boy, let's go to white boy who has got a promo to cut about their upcoming match at the Bluegrass Brawl.
Hi, fans, right now with us at ringside, the dirty white girl, the dirty white boy. White boy, you saw what happened last week to her. They tried to rip her clothes off of her, ripped her blouse. What do you say about that?
You know, everybody in Smoky Mountain Wrestling is getting a little sick and tired of Tammy Fitch running around embarrassing and humiliating people. Oh, she thinks it's funny. She thinks it's whoop-de-doo. Ha, ha, ha. You see, I with the white girl's blouse. Well, darn it, I went a little step further. I talked to the new commissioner, Mr. Bob Armstrong, and I asked him for April the 1st at the Bluegrass Brawl for a particular type of match. It's not just a regular mixed tag match, but it's a back alley brawl match. And what that means is pinfalls don't count. The only way that you can win this particular type of match is you've got to strip both your opponents down to the BDD. That means standing there in your Fruit of the Loom running around. It's about time, Tammy, that somebody put a little humiliation on you for a change. And there's nothing you can do about it come April the 1st. White girl.
You know, sweetie, you're fixing to pay a lot of dues because you're nothing but a rat that bounces around from motel to motel looking for some meat to get a hold of. Well, I tell you what, it's fixing to come to a screeching halt because when I get my hands on you, not only am I going to rip your damn clothes off, sweetie, I'm going to tear your head, your damn hair, and everything else completely off your skull.
So there you have it. You get ready in case you missed the date. It's April the 1st. Bluegrass Brawl. Prime time. You and little Tammy get ready to get humiliated. Let's rock and roll.
All right now, let's go to the ring, fans.
All right. So I get obviously I get the premise of this match. I mean, they've been doing tuxedo matches forever. In '98 we're gonna get evening yell matches and bra and panty matches. So like the concept of the strip your opponent to their underwear match is definitely an old one. But it's like with the exception of weirdos like Trae, I think most people are really anticipating a babyface victory here.
Right. No, see, this is like the beauty of this. I wanted to point out. You can do any stipulation and make it feel like a serious stipulation if you've made it mean something. Of course, these baby faces have a reason to want to humiliate these heels in this way.
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of a silly match concept, no doubt. But, you know, it makes sense because ultimately, at the end of
Yeah.
the day, the title isn't on the line. And so to White Boy, it doesn't necessarily matter if he wins or loses. It's everything to do with A, defending the honor of his woman. So I guess it depends to some degree that he wins. But B, more specifically, it's to embarrass that prissy, stuck up northerner who came down and
Yeah.
stuck her nose into everyone's business, who filed a sexual discrimination lawsuit against Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And you'd think this would be a, you know, fuel to the fire of that lawsuit. Like I was forced against my will into a match where I may be stripped to my underwear. That seems like something that would be a point in court.
Maybe that's why this lawsuit has never been resolved.
There you go.
Maybe that's why we
Um,
can't get anybody to comment on it. They can't talk about ongoing litigation.
exactly. I was just watching you know me, like sometimes I just turn on like some random ass show because I'm doing some work and I just need some background noise. And I turned on the
Yeah.
first episode of WCW Saturday Night from 1998. And among other things was Barry Darso and John Nord as a tag team, which is just fucking tremendous, especially in
Oh yeah.
1998. But during the show, the announcers are Shivani and Dusty Rhodes. and they're talking about how they have a gag order to prevent them from discussing what happened in the Hogan Sting rematch on Nitro the night after Starrcade when they went off the air during the match. And
Oh wow.
I, yeah. And actually, do you remember well, do you remember? You know the Hogan Andre main event on NBC, because all the syndicated shows were taped weeks ahead of time, even though they aired the next day or two, they did the um, announcers under a gag order thing. And at one point, Jesse Ventura decides, fuck the gag order, and starts talking, and he gets sound edited off the show.
Phenomenal. No,
Yeah.
that's you got to do shit. You had to do shit like this back then,
Yep,
right?
definitely. Um, all right. So Beat the Champ TV champion Killer Kyle versus Mike Furnas. Now, there's a lot of problems with this match, not the least of which Killer Kyle, the TV champion, did not get an entrance for this match. He was already in the ring, minus hat and coat and violin case. And Mike Furnas, the
Okay.
challenger, who has never had a match on TV, did get a musical entrance.
Well, they've been doing that lately, though. Remember when the Hornet was champion and he didn't get an entrance, but the challenger did?
I mean, that's different because the Hornet, like, is a job guy, and well, not Larry Santo.
Fucking
Who
so is
else was the
Killer
champ?
Kyle.
Killer Kyle. He's not a he's not a main event guy or anything, but he's been a pushed member of the roster.
Not
Especially
since I've
that
been
first
watching.
year. That first year, especially like before they got in like Tracy and Ricky Morton and all that, Killer Kyle was a fairly pushed member of the roster.
Well,
Um,
bad news for Mr. Kyle. His replacement is coming.
I'm afraid I have some bad news. Um, so Bob Caudle tells us that Killer Kyle can hurt you in a number of different ways. I was really hoping Bob Caudle would start listing the different ways that Killer Kyle could hurt you. That
I
um
uh
this
Bob says Mike Furnas is still attending the Smoky Mountain Wrestling School. And Doug said he'd still be buying a ticket if you ask me.
this match was like 2 minutes long, and if we had the unedited version, this may be one of the worst matches of all time. Because like we got a crowd shot during the entrances, so God only knows what happened there. And then we got a lengthy crowd shot before the finish, and then they should have done another crowd shot because the finish was a little messed up because Mike Furnas can't run the ropes. And the finish is Mike Furnas runs off the ropes and does a running shoulder tackle. And hey, I've done a running shoulder tackle in wrestling class. Miss, I can't take a bump, but I can do a running shoulder tackle. And you know, I'm super biased here, but I think my running shoulder tackle is better than Mike Furnas's. But Mike Furnas was able to win the match and win the television championship with a running shoulder tackle, not a diving shoulder tackle, not anything like that. He ran shoulder to shoulder into Killer Kyle, and that put Killer Kyle down for 3 seconds.
Well, he was a football player. Of course he can beat you with yeah, this
With a
was
shoulder.
if he had meant to do this, it would have been a pounce. But because he didn't mean to do this, he did a shoulder block and just like rolled the wrong fucking way. And I bet Killer Kyle was pissed that he didn't like. Not only did he have to do a job for this fucker, but he had to like lay there while this stupid fuck God he figured out which way was up and figured out where to make the fucking pin. Okay, I will say though, the fucking crowd shot. They found this little 6-year-old blonde girl, and she was so fucking into this. And I was really hoping that they would keep showing her for the whole taping.
That was a girl.
Yeah,
I
this
wrote
like a little blind girl.
I wrote they found an ugly boy in the crowd.
That was a different segment.
I wrote it during this
I remember.
segment.
Okay, there was a different segment with a little boy that was, but no, that was a little girl. What the fuck?
If that little girl is listening to us, and I don't know why you wouldn't be, I apologize.
You should. That was
Uh,
absolutely a little girl
I watched this at
who's
seven
like,
o'clock
okay,
this morning. I watched this before
looking,
work.
yeah, looking at how old she was here, she's fucking my age. So yeah.
Oh Lord. And this means, ladies and gentlemen, that yes, we're going to have to watch Mike Furnas wrestle on TV every week now.
And unfortunately for Killer Kyle, this almost certainly means that he is going to go down the rankings and not get a title shot for some time.
Yes. Yes. He
Yeah.
By the way, what the fuck did we do to deserve this? Mike Furnas is the TV champion. Let's now go to a promo with Mike Furnas. The fuck?
And what a great win for this young man. The first championship in Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
I'm humbled by the whole situation here. I can't believe it's a title match. My first one. I got to humble myself with this, and it's unbelievable. I don't even know what went on.
Well, he doesn't know what happened. Maybe a lot of luck figured into it. I don't know. But he's a great athlete, fans. That may just be one of many championships for Mike Furnas. We'll be back. Right now, let's take this time out.
Okay, for those keeping track, that audio segment I played was 28 seconds. Mike Furnas's promo of that 28 seconds was 8 seconds. And I don't know what he said.
I'm gonna spoiler something here on account of what Grandpa Bob said. I'm sorry to report that this is in fact Mike Furnas's only pro wrestling championship.
Didn't we say like he never wrestled again after Smoky Mountain?
Yeah, he doesn't. They're after this year.
Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. And again, for the third time in the show, what the fuck did we do to deserve this? All right. So from here, we get a replay of the last 3 minutes of the Heavenly Bodies Rock and Roll Express Marathon match. I'll be honest, it was not the most exciting 3 minutes of Heavenly Bodies versus Rock and Roll Express we've ever seen in our lives. And I noted that the cord from the ladder match was like dangling in like a U over the ring. JC left the ringside area and then ran down with oxygen to give Del Rey a wake-up call, which obviously that means that Jim Cornette used the time machine to go into the future and steal that spot from the MJF Daniel Bryan Iron Man match a couple years ago in AEW.
Well, he listens to the podcast, so he's got the means. Phil Rainey on commentary, and I like how did they never get Phil when like they needed an announcer? Because he lived in Knoxville, I assume. They just not want to do it, or
we discussed this because I mean he's hit and miss. There are some days where I'm like, okay, because he's got the voice. Because like he has a great announcing voice. But I think it's probably he just didn't want to do it. I'm sure he had a real newscaster job and didn't want to go on the road or whatever.
Well, the shame of it is that like eventually Les Thatcher is the host of the show, and like they were the team in Knoxville in like '78. They were great. Like I think that was where Phil was best, probably when he had Les to play off of.
So somehow Jim Cornette got into the ring without Mark Curtis seeing him, and somehow hit, I think, Ricky Morton with the oxygen tank, and yes. Tom got the pin, and Heavenly Bodies won 3-2, as the Heavenly Bodies are still your Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champions.
And then the promo.
All right, we're gonna go now to maybe like the greatest promo ever, and the sad part is what makes it great isn't even so much the promo, but just the visual.
Yes.
Let's go to the Heavenly Bodies, which is then going to be followed by the Rock and Roll Express cutting a live promo.
Rock and Roll Express, we proved one more time we're not only in better shape, we can go an hour and not even feel it, but also that we're the better tag team because we beat you 3 falls to 2 in the marathon match. And the same thing's going to happen at the Bluegrass Brawl April the 1st inside the steel cage, Morgan Gibson. Loser of the match leaves Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And finally, after 10 long years, that's it, boys, you're in the best shape of your life. After 10 long years, I'm going to rid myself and the world of my worst nemesis. The Heavenly Bodies are going to beat the Rock and Roll Express, and the Rock and Roll Express will be the ones at the Greyhound bus station on Saturday morning, April the 2nd. Come on, boys, you're in great shape.
All right, fans, here they are, the Rock and Roll Express. Rick, that was a long, long match.
Well, Bob, everybody just seen a prime example of how Jimmy Cornette comes down to save his Heavenly Bodies. But you got to understand one thing. Coming up, April the 1st at Bluegrass Brawl, we're going to have a match inside a steel cage. Loser leaves Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and the titles are on the line. You know, I got to say one thing about Jimmy Cornette. His Heavenly Bodies, this is the toughest team that he's ever managed. But without your help, Jimmy Cornette, the Heavenly Bodies aren't too much. But you see, because we're inside a steel cage, that means only go in the steel door. You can't go out. That means, Jimmy Cornette, you can't interfere.
Yeah.
You see, the only way to get back at Jimmy Cornette is take away something that he loves. And you know he loves his Heavenly Bodies in more than one way. Everybody knows that. So you see Jimmy Cornette, Pikeville, Kentucky, Bluegrass Brawl. You remember one thing. This is our last go-around for the Rock and Roll Express, and we're not planning on losing because, like I told you many times before, rock and roll, we're here to stay. We're not here to play. Thank you.
All right, fans, April 1st.
Very low-key Ricky Morton promo, even though he called the Heavenly Bodies and Jim Cornette gay, apparently.
You think that's what he was implying by saying that Cornette loves his Heavenly Bodies in more than one way?
Well, how else would you think he meant it?
I don't know. I'm interested in what you talk.
All right. So this Heavenly Bodies. It's after the match. Jim Cornette, they're sitting in the locker room. Jim Cornette's sitting between them. Del Rey is laying flat out on the bench. Dr. Tom is sitting there hunched over, and they're taking turns sucking down the oxygen. While Cornette, you can hear talking about, what great shape these guys are in. Best shape I've ever seen. They're dying. It's a good thing the arena's empty because the first 3 rows would have passed out of the oxygen deprivation at this point.
This is such a fucking tremendous segment. Oh my god.
It's literally like the promo is fine, but like the visual is what makes it, 5 stars.
I'm so sad about us losing them.
Well, we may be losing the Rock and Roll Express.
Well, I am in the future also, so.
Say what? I'll tell you what, Dave Meltzer, this week in The Observer, also thought the Heavenly Bodies were losing because he noted that since he's losing the Heavenly Bodies, Jim Cornette's going to bring in Bruiser Bedlam, a.k.a. Johnny K9, as a singles heel.
Spoiler! I'm just kidding, I knew. I'd look for something. I didn't mean to look at. I was looking up something else, and then I saw Bruiser Bedlam, and I put 2 and 2 together.
Oh, righty. That was just tremendous. And
yes.
It's visual comedy. This is good comedy in wrestling.
Vince
Russo watched this and try to learn.
No, he didn't. He didn't watch this. He might have actually learned something if he'd watched this.
There's too much wrestling on this show, bro.
I bet Vinny Rue would have loved Jimmy Del Rey though.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Del Rey would have been the TNA champion in 2006 if Vinny Rue would have watched this.
Indeed.
All right. From here, let's go to Down and Dirty with Dutch with primetime Brian Lee, who is the dumbest motherfucker on the planet, and Tammy Fitch.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Down and Dirty with Dutch. I'm Dr. Dutch Mantel. This is the most popular segment on Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Right now, my special guest, and I have to say, it is a pleasure to welcome the First Lady of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Tammy Fitch, and primetime Brian Lee. A lot of things going on in your life, Tammy, and I'm sure you'd like to share it with the fans of Smoky Mountain right now.
We have a match coming up at the Bluegrass Brawl on April 1st. It's going to be a mixed tag team match with Brian and myself looking across the ring at the Dirty White Boy and the Dirty White Girl. Now wait, this isn't a normal match. This is a strip the clothes match. The winner can't win by pinfall. You can't win by submission. You can't win by having the other person get counted out. The loser will get their clothes completely stripped from their body. Not one of us, but two. The entire team. And let me tell you something. This is going to be on April Fool's Day, and we're not the fools that are going to get stripped. I don't care what we have to do, but the Dirty White Boy and the Dirty White Girl are losing their clothes. There's no doubt about it. But you know what I was just thinking? All you gotta do is toss a $10 bill over the Dirty White Girl. She'll take her clothes off for you right there. There's no doubt about it. And you know, I wonder what she can do for $20. What do you think, Dutch?
Well, I agree wholeheartedly with you. That's what you say, Miss Fitz. That's exactly.
You know?
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I'm out of this. I'm in the corner. It looks like we got company. The Dirty White Girl is coming in the ring, obviously upset. Oh, Tammy Fitz says she's going to strip it right here. We got more company. Watch out, prime time. Watch out, prime time. Look out. Look out. Prime time. You got company. Dirty White Boy standing right behind you. Oh. We got a Dirty Boy going. We're getting too close. Oh, I'm moving out of the way here. I'm trying to get out of the way. It looks like White Boy going after. He's stripping prime time down to the short. He's almost got his pants off. White Boy tugging and pulling. It looks as though prime time is almost stripped completely naked in the ring here. I'm back as far back in this corner as I can go, and it's pulling. He's Tammy Fitz trying to extract prime time Brian Lee, and they're trying to get off. What are you? But we ended up with it. Prime time Brian Lee stripped down. Fans, we got to get out of here. Don't go away. We'll be right back. The Thrill Seekers making their debut next here on Smoky Mountain.
As I was saying before I realized I muted, the longest minute in Smoky Mountain Wrestling history. I didn't bother to count how long it took White Boy to take off his pants, but White Boy or Primetime Brian Lee was standing there with his back to White Boy with Dutch yelling at him for 12 seconds. A very long 12 seconds. If there's ever a time to give us a shot of an ugly kid in the crowd and cut some time, this segment could have been it.
Poor Horsehead.
Yes. And then it's like, Horsehead was wearing his wrestling tights, by the way. I don't know how embarrassed he really is when, at least until his heel turn, this is what he wore to the ring all the fucking time. So I'm thinking Horsehead wasn't too embarrassed.
Yeah, but I have a theory of comedy. Female nudity, not funny, because there's like an intrinsic discomfort about it. Male nudity,
Yes.
always funny.
Yes. You know? It never stops being funny. Like, Goldust being stripped at WrestleMania, that was funny.
Yeah.
But if Marlena would have been stripped at WrestleMania, not funny.
Right, no. By the way,
Or like-
it's the opposite
or
with
like
it's the opposite with
when-
farts.
Yes. Men farting, not funny. Women farting, definitely funny.
Absolutely.
But Luna being stripped at Unforgiven when she had the The evening gown match with Sable, not funny. But, like I said, Goldust, funny.
Right. Yeah.
So to build up to the clothes ripping match, we had some clothes ripping here on TV, and it sounds awful, I know, but it's like almost like the perfect person to be stripped of that from the heel team is the prissy one of the two. Yes, Primetime Bradley is prissier than Tammy Fitch.
Well, look, the way that clearly, they shot the angle by having the heel humiliate the female heel humiliating the female babyface, because that's the heat. Okay, that the issue between Tammy and the Dirty White Girl, that's the heat of the angle. But then they're building it. You can't build it. Okay, they've already done Tammy embarrassing the Dirty White Girl. They can't do Dirty White Girl embarrassing Tammy yet because that's the payoff. So what do you do to build it? You fucking strip Horsehead down to his drawers because that's funny.
Yes. And Vinny Rue, I know you're listening to the show because why else wouldn't you be? That is the appropriate next step. I know your instinct would have been later on the same show for Tammy to have been stripped, but no, that's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason people will now pay to go to this show because they think Tammy is going to be stripped to her bra and panties.
Imagine that. Fucking drawing money.
Yes. Bro. Where's your Etch-a-Sketch, bro? Where's Dave Meltzer to explain what an Etch-a-Sketch is? Oh, Lord. All right, let's go now to another Jim Cornette promo. Because, hey, apparently you can never have enough Jim Cornette promos on one show, as we learned like 6 months ago on that one episode.
And right back with us here is, of course, Jim Cornette. Jim, we had the pleasure earlier of welcoming Bob Armstrong back as commissioner of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And he says, hey, Jim Cornette's going to have a mystery partner I got to take care of.
Oh, you welcome Bob Armstrong. Yeah. I guess you welcome the tax man when he comes to your house. I guess you welcome people when they come to break in and steal something. That's the kind of guy Bob Armstrong is. Let me say, first of all, everybody saw a little earlier in this program that the Rock and Roll Express cannot take the heavily bodies. We beat them once again, and we did it fair and square and legal. And at April 1st, at the Bluegrass Brawl, brother, Rock and Roll, Ricky Morton said, they're going to take their boots and their tights off, they're going to throw them in a pile in the middle of the ring, and they'll never wrestle again if they lose that match. Well, I got news for you. I'm bringing me a can of gasoline, and we're going to have a little bonfire. We're going to burn those raggedy tights. We're going to burn those stinking boots, because Rock and Roll, after 10 long years, this thing between me and you is coming to a halt, and it's going to happen at the Bluegrass Brawl on April the 1st. The bodies will beat you, and you'll not only be out of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, but if you live up to your word, you'll be out of wrestling entirely. And then, Bob Armstrong, my other problem. I know he thought he had this thing handled, but I still got one more trick up my sleeve. You see where I've made my mistake in the past? I've told Bob Armstrong exactly what was going to happen. I've told him who he was going to face. I brought in Terry Funk and Dick Murdoch, Dory Funk Jr., all the top stars in wrestling. But I told him ahead of time who he was going to have to wrestle. Well, this time, Bob Armstrong, I realized, because even though you're a no-good stinking redneck, just like all the rest of these people, you are tough, I'll give you that. So I've got to do a little thinking of my own. You don't know, Bob Armstrong, who you're going to wrestle. You don't know who's going to be my partner at the Bluegrass Brawl. It may be a WWF star, maybe even Yokozuna. Or it may be an international star like Abdullah the Butcher or Kevin Sullivan. Or it may be somebody that's not even involved in professional wrestling. And Bob Armstrong, believe me, I'm the only one that knows this man is coming. And you're not going to know it until it's too late. Because by the time that you find out, believe me, he's going to be on top of you, and you ain't never going to get out from underneath him. April the 1st at the Bluegrass Brawl, we're going to get rid of the Rock and Roll Express, and I'm going to solve my Bob Armstrong problem once and for all. Armstrong, nobody knows who this guy is, and you won't until it's too late.
All right, fans, April 1st, Pikeville, Kentucky.
Okay, so I have not looked into the future, and I also don't remember who this is, but I do remember that the last time we did a mystery partner without knowing who it wasn't it Larry Santo under a mask?
Yeah, the answer for who this is very, very obvious. We've already said it during the show.
Tim Horner?
It's Bruiser Bedlam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that's yeah, I guess at this point it's like they weren't gonna make an extra dollar by saying Bruiser Bedlam because that means
Right.
nothing to this point. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give it to
Yeah.
that. Yeah. At least it's better than Larry Santo under a mask, with all due love and respect to Larry Santo.
Hey, Larry Santo under a mask is one of the most beloved luchadors in history. Show some respect.
I will say, Bruiser Bedlam, perfectly acceptable partner, but when you're on TV teasing it could be Yokozuna or Abdullah the Butcher, and you get Bruiser Bedlam, that is a
Oh.
huge step down.
Do you think that there's enough food in all of Pikeville, Kentucky to feed one Yokozuna?
Maybe one Yokozuna, but the problem is if you get to two or three Yokozunas.
Well, the problem is when the first Yokozuna wants to eat again.
Remember Survivor Series 92 when Yokozuna beat Virgil and there was a Coliseum video exclusive with Virgil where he talked about getting beaten by Yakazuma?
Yakazuma. Oh,
Yes.
phenomenal.
I'm sure if you ask Virgil, well, he can't 'cause he passed away, but I'm sure if he was alive and you asked Virgil, he probably made $50,000 up for that match, and it was the best match on the show.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Wrestling superstar
Uh,
Virgil.
hey, it's important to have faith in your own abilities, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll give him that. All right, so then it's time for a highly anticipated debut. Yes, right here on this very program, we had the debut of a hot new tag team. Trae,
They're
tell us
gonna
about the
rock
Infernos.
America. Oh, that tag team. Oh yeah, the team of Fire and Brimstone, the Infernos, the hottest new tag team in the Smoky Mountain area. By the way,
Oh, yeah. Why aren't they getting like a consideration for a tag team title match? They've had just as many TV
yeah,
matches as Lance
yeah.
Storm and Chris Jericho at this point, even though the Thrill Seekers are the former Canadian tag team champions who gave up the tag team titles of an entire country to try to win the tag team titles of three or four states.
So have you did you look up who Fire and Brimstone were?
I didn't. It's probably Tim Horner and Larry
It
Santo.
Brimstone is Brian Logan and Fire is Anthony Michaels. And there
Okay.
was a noticeable height difference between the Infernos, but Cage Match has both Brian Logan and Anthony Michaels at 6'2", so I don't know.
I didn't even know which one they pinned. Which one did they pin, Trae?
The shorter one.
Okay, great. Um, the fans were super into this, and Lance Storm's drop kick was so tremendous that he knocked down the $2,500 check that was hanging up for the ladder match later. And I uh, I had memories of the X falling down during the Ultimate X match in TNA.
Lance
Um,
just always, but Lance is a great worker, but fuck it, those legs. That motherfucker's like a cat, the way he can jump. You know, a
yeah,
cat can just jump flat-footed up to like the equivalent of jumping on top of a house. That's Lance Storm.
yes. I'm going to talk later about Candido almost reaching the envelope by jumping up in the air. I think Lance could have easily done that if he tried.
Oh, 100%.
Um, I wrote they pinned one of the Infernos with a double missile drop kick, and
Yes.
yeah, as Jericho mentioned in his book, they're going to get some heat, brother, from Punk and Hoot for this one because
Yeah, and Dutch noted it. They are clearly being positioned as the next generation Rock and Roll Express.
eh, honestly, and I don't know, you'd have to ask Cornette this if this was even a consideration. I could see them like if the Thrill Seekers had lasted into 95, having a thing where the Rock and Roll Express takes them under their wing to show them the way, and then turn the Rock and Roll Express heel on them.
I bet because he has said that, like, well, maybe if they would have really gotten over, we could have turned the rock and roll heel on them, and hey, that would have been good. Unfortunately, fate had other plans.
They could have popped the territory, brother.
Jericho watched a fucking Liger tape and got a stupid idea, and the rest is history.
Hey, Billy Kidman watched the same Liger tape, and was it Paul London that got injured? No, it was Chavo
Chavo.
Guerrero. Yeah.
Yeah, Chavo. Yeah.
Oh my God, do you remember that fucking stupid ass feud with Paul or Billy Kidman turned heel? And he was like, it was like the worst angle ever because the storyline, Billy Kidman gave a shooting star press to Chavo Guerrero, and I never actually saw it, but like I don't know if he under rotated, over rotated, whatever, but he fucked up Chavo Guerrero. And so the
Mm-hmm.
storyline became that he felt so guilty about it that like he didn't even want to wrestle anymore, or like he did not want to do the shooting star press. And instead of it being like, man, a sympathetic thing, because this motherfucker, like, I know wrestling's a contact sport and everything, but you still don't want to hurt other people except under certain circumstances. And it's like he hurt him, but instead of it being a sympathetic thing, it's like, oh, what a pussy Billy Kidman is. He's not going out there now to wrestle because he feels bad about hurting Chavo Guerrero. And it led to, in my opinion, the greatest angry moment in wrestling history where they had a match at No Mercy. It was Billy Kidman and Paul London because they were the tag team champions and they lost the belts to Rene Dupree and Kenzo Suzuki of all people, um,
Uh-huh.
because Kidman couldn't wrestle. And so Teddy Long had ordered Billy Kidman to wrestle or be suspended forever. And so Billy Kidman wrestled. I think he won. But the thing is, after the match, Billy Kidman snapped. And in it, and by snapping, what he did was he took Paul London into the ring. And then Billy Kidman, while angry and having lost control of his temper, Billy Kidman climbed to the top rope. And in his anger, Billy Kidman jumped forward and did a backflip, a shooting star press as it's called in wrestling parlance, and angrily gave Paul London the shooting star press. And then he did it again. And Michael Cole is on commentary because Michael Cole is a tool. And he's like, oh man, how awful this is of Billy Kidman trying to purposely injure Paul London. It's like, motherfucker, Billy Kidman didn't want to wrestle anymore. He didn't want to do the shooting star press. Y'all motherfuckers guilt tripped him into this. It's your fault.
That's funny. I remember reading that description, years ago. I don't know that I ever saw that pay-per-view. Was that No Mercy 2003?
Four.
Four, okay.
It
Yeah,
was
I
JBL
don't
versus.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I don't know that I ever saw that show, but I remember reading that, and it's just and I have zero memory of anything Billy Kidman did in wrestling after that.
There's a reason for that because I don't think he did anything after that. He had his short robe, his cut off Ric Flair robe, which was just tremendous. Um, but yeah, that was the show main evented by JBL versus The Undertaker in the first ever last ride match, which ended when Heidenreich cost Undertaker the WWE title, which started the feud between The Undertaker and Jon Heidenreich, which almost led to the greatest tag team match that never happened. The Undertaker and Kane versus Jon Heidenreich and Gene Snitsky.
And did lead to Michael Cole being raped on television.
Yes. Hi, John. Hi, Gene. What was it?
I like what you do
Yes. I like what you do to
I like,
babies. And
I like what you do to babies.
She's like, I like your poetry or whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember
Uh,
exactly. Oh.
and then they met again before the Royal Rumble. And like it was just like there is one I don't like caskets, but I do like Eugene. Like I like you too, John.
Oh, the greatest tag
Oh,
team that never was.
and from that, from a discussion about Snitsky and John Heidenreich, we're gonna go to a promo with Lance Storm and Chris Jericho, which is
Oh.
debatably worse than the promo with John Heidenreich and Gene Snitsky. Let's go to Lance and Chris and Bob.
All right, you are, Dutch. We're here with the Thrill Seekers, and of course, you just saw them. What a great, great debut here on Smoky Mountain Wrestling for Lance Storm and Chris Jericho. Lance?
Well, I'll tell you, I hope the people of Smoky Mountain Wrestling are ready, because the Thrill Seekers are here. We got our first taste of Smoky Mountain action, and we're loving it, and we're ready for more. I hope you can handle it, because the Thrill Seekers are here.
I tell you guys got some tremendous moves in there, and the fans love them, every one.
Thank you very much, Bob Cottle. And that was only the tip of the iceberg. Right here, the Thrill Seekers in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and we are so happy to be here. We just can't believe it. We haven't been able to sleep. We haven't been able to eat, but now it's started, and everybody here knows it, and they want to see the Thrill Seekers, and I know everyone at Vegas too, because we're coming, baby, right on.
All right, high energy fans from the Thrill Seekers. We're going to be back right after this.
Okay, so Chris Jericho becomes a much better promo.
Yes. Yeah, look, this was Lance as a forced extrovert babyface, which is just weird if you know Lance Storm at all. And then it is Jericho has all of the enthusiasm of Chris Jericho without the polish or the nuance. They're young. That's all. They're young.
Yes. The next time Lance Storm acts this excited on TV is when he has a big penis and is kissing Jackie Gata.
Yes, that was the thing. It's like Lance. Oh, it's just if you know Lance, you know that's not Lance.
Yes. And like Jericho, like I know he says it in his book, he didn't really learn how to cut promos until he was in WCW, because they'd be doing like the house show promos,
Right.
and like a whole bunch of people wouldn't want to do them, so he'd volunteer to do them. And that's how he learned to cut a good promo. But yeah, this is if you were waiting for like, a great Chris Jericho soliloquy, you're going to be waiting a long ass time for that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and it makes sense because like he's been working in fucking Mexico and Japan and Germany. The one thing he's not learning is how to cut promos in English.
He's probably not cutting a promo in Germany.
No.
Oh my God. Do you remember the story in his book about when he goes to Mexico for the first time and they have a legitimate fan vote over what his name should be?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like I forgot, like there were like two horrendous options, and then Corazon de Leon, which barely won the fan vote.
Wasn't he Leon D'Oro at first?
I
Or was
mean,
that-
either way,
am I-
whatever it was, it's like, it was a much better
Yeah.
name than the
Yeah.
shit show names that he almost got sidled with.
Yeah, I may be misremembering. I think he was Leon de Oro until he went to Arena Mexico, and then he became Corazon de Leon. I think. I may be misremembering. I'm not the lucha historian.
It's also been a long ass time since I've read his book. I just half-ass
Yeah.
remember that story. All right, so then we go to double champion Chris Candido versus Tracy Smothers and a ladder match for $2,500. Where the hell do they keep getting $2,500 from?
The first bank of Morristown, probably.
Well, I thought they said like last week, the week before, that this was Candido's money. That this was the $2,500 he originally bet that he lost, and then he won back, and now is being put up for grabs in apparently a series of ladder matches. At this point, Tracy's up like $20,000, but I don't know if he's ever going to get his damn money.
Okay, is it the same $2,500 every ladder match, or is it like $2,500 per? Like, are they passing? Are they passing the same $2,500 back and forth?
They never really mentioned. They just said that one time it was the 2,500 that Candido put up and lost in the first Beat the Champ bet.
You remember the episode of Beavis and Butthead when they were like selling candy bars and then they just kept selling them back and forth to each other with the same dollar?
I don't remember that, but that sounds tremendous.
Yes.
So before the match, Candido tried jumping up and grabbing the money from the mat and almost got it. And Mark
Yeah.
Curtis had to tell him not to do that anymore. Um,
This was
and
almost half of an Ultimate X match.
yes, yes, they like had two poles in the corner and tied a string to either end and put the check in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, this is, of course, as we hinted at earlier, the day before WrestleMania 10.
Yes.
Um, Now we'll get to this, but so yes, technically, Smoky Mountain had a televised ladder match before the WWE had a televised ladder match, even though that Brett Shawn ladder match had already been on like half a dozen VHS tapes at this point, because I know I had
Right.
seen it before WrestleMania 10.
Yeah.
And then they announced during this match, they announced that they're going to have another ladder match at Bluegrass Brawl. Is Vince Russo booking
Yeah.
this?
I just need to know if it's for the same money or not.
They didn't say what it was
Reclarification.
for. I'm assuming it's for another $2,500, especially since
By the
the
way,
finish we're going to get to in a minute.
when we get the time machine, when we get to 1994, we got to call Pam first to find out because we got to go to the Papa John's in Pikeville to meet the Dirty White Boy and the Dirty White Girl.
I wrote that Dirty White Boy and Dirty White Girl will be at Papa John's on April 1st before Bluegrass Brawl. Well, we know what Trae's first stop will be once we get a time machine, and he'll go there with $10 in his hand.
Did you really write that?
Yes, I did. Oh Lord. Um, 1 second. Stupid computer being stupid.
Arya, we know each
Um,
other far too well.
did you write the same thing?
I wrote I need to call Pam and get a ticket to meet the Dirty White Boy and the Dirty White Girl at Papa John's.
Well, you wouldn't need a ticket to meet them. You would just
Or what?
go to the Papa John's.
Yeah, I think I needed to. I don't know. I just wanted to. I wanted to fit the Pam. I wanted to fit into Pam somewhere in there.
Wow. Although you would need directions because your Google Maps would not work in 1994 because you'd need Wi-Fi or
Oh,
Blu-ray.
that's right. Well, uh, or Blu-ray.
Blu-ray. Wow.
What
Wow.
fucking GPS are you using to use this Blu-ray technology?
Oh Lord. I think I'm going to edit out the last 2 minutes of this show. It's been a long day, ladies and gentlemen. A long day. Um,
It sure has.
I wrote that they're using a painter's ladder, which means there will be no climbing up both sides, and that Big Show ain't going to be able to climb this ladder. Well, we will find out that at least half of that is wrong. Um, Candido does a top rope splash to the ladder, smashing his knee. Tracy hit a diving shoulder tackle, which Candido bounced right back up from, thus proving my brand new theory: Mike Furnas is better than Tracy Smothers. Tracy goes to the top rope and hits a double axe handle and then a top rope shoulder block, neither of which is the jaw jacker, which I started typing both times, and neither time did he go for his damn move. And then the finish saw both men climb up both sides of the ladder, thus proving me wrong about that. Unfortunately, Paul White did not come down to try to climb the ladder to try to prove me wrong entirely. And then Tracy suplexed Candido off the ladder, grabbed the envelope, and got the win. After the match, Candido attacked Tracy, stole the money back, and shoved it in his tights. And then Candido took it out of his tights, kissed it, and put it back in his tights. Thus proving that Chris Candido is no Buddy Landel, who famously put a check down the front of his sweaty pants, and then later on pulled it out to shove in Tim Horner's mouth.
Yeah.
So
they had a thoughtful and creative match here, I thought.
Yeah. Once upon a time, this was the greatest televised ladder match of all time.
For a whole day.
Yes. Well, depending on where you lived and where you saw this, because remember, it aired at noon in Knoxville.
So if you were in Knoxville Sunday, and you watched Smoky Mountain Wrestling and then you watched WrestleMania 8, this was the greatest televised ladder match for a couple hours.
I don't know why you would watch WrestleMania 8 since it was WrestleMania 10, but sure. If you watched WrestleMania 8, you saw a pretty good show too.
Oh, if there's an alternate reality where Flair and Randy was a ladder match for the pictures.
What about hey? It's one way Roddy Piper could have gotten away without doing another job. His one pinfall job in the WWF, he could have gotten away with one job.
Let Brett have the one job. Let Brett have the one.
Oh, Lord. It's amazing. Okay. It really says something that Roddy Piper managed to be the only person to get away with refusing to lose to Hogan.
Were WrestleMania 8 and Judgment Day 03 the only times Piper got pinned in the WWF?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, no, actually, the SmackDown that aired after Roddy Piper got fired for his Real Sports interview popping up, him and O'Haire lost the tag team title match to Eddie and Tajiri, and Eddie pinned Piper with the frog splash. Which I'm sure Piper had zero problem losing to Eddie Guerrero.
I mean, when it comes to the quality of people you're getting pinned by, Bret Hart, Eddie Guerrero, pretty up there.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, I don't know when Piper stopped caring about doing jobs, because he went to WCW and did a decent number of them. Like, he didn't lose all the time. Like, he won more than he lost. But it's like, if you look at it, he lost to Hogan. I think part of that, too, was like Hogan agreed to put him over first. But he lost to Hogan. I know he lost to Bret at one point. He lost to Scott Hall. You know, he did do some jobs in WCW. So it's, it's not like, at some point he kind of just like, okay, it's whatever.
I don't think he cared as much once he had like the acting career and wasn't solely relying on wrestling.
Yeah. I've said this before. It was Piper's book that made me stop believing anything a wrestler wrote in his book, because Piper's book came out in December 2002, and I read that and I'm like, okay, there's no way in fucking hell this guy ever takes a check from Vince McMahon ever again. And like 3 months later, there he is at WrestleMania.
I'm very annoyed because that is one of the books that I owned at some point, and just over the last fucking 23 years since I don't have it anymore.
Mm-hmm. I don't have it either. I know I at least had a PDF of it on my computer. It might still be there. I just haven't bothered to look in my PDFs of wrestling books. Yeah. But so let's go to a show closing promo with the wild-eyed Southern boy Tracy Smothers and his good friend Bob Caudle.
With us right now, here's the wild-eyed Southern boy Tracy Smothers, one of the most dangerous matches we've seen in a long time. We've checked with the commissioner, Smoky Mountain officials. You are going to get that money back.
Mr. Caudle, I'm not worried about that money right now. It's Chris Candido's hide that I want. Let me tell you something, Candido. All the fans in Dungannon, Virginia, and the millions of people watching this show right now saw me kick your butt, and I deserve that $2,500. But Bluegrass Brawl, Pikeville, Kentucky. That is my town. That's a very lucky town for me. We got a lot of ladder matches coming up, and I'll guarantee you this, by the good grace of God and the support of the fans, the South is going to rise again in Pikeville, April 1st. Thank you, Mr. Cox.
All right, from the wild-eyed Southern boy. All right, the dirty white boy, the dirty white girl, and I know what this is right here. Hey, kind of proud of that, aren't you?
Oh, I'm real proud. How you feeling now, prime time, Brian Lee? A little embarrassed? A little humiliation going on, maybe? Where was your girl at? She looked like a greyhound dog scooting out this building and left you there, didn't she? Well, come April the 1st, Bluegrass Brawl. Prime time, we got you, but I gotta get you one more time. And then, after I get you all stripped down to your underwear, them drawers, then we're gonna turn all of our attention on Tammy Fitz. And Tammy, by the time we get through with you, you ain't gonna be wearing nothing but your birthday suit. We'll see you April the 1st, Bluegrass Brawl.
All right, fans, next week right here, the dirty white boy, Killer Kyle, for the championship. Also a video of the Thrill Seekers and more next week. We'll see you then.
Okay. We'll get to that at the end. But so Tracy wants Candido's hide. All the fans in Dungannon, Virginia saw him kick Candido's butt. But in Pikeville, Kentucky, he will get whatever is on the line. And I wrote, I assume another $2,500. And then because we still have some time left, go ahead.
I'm sorry, another $2,500 or the same $2,500?
Who knows? It may one day get explained. And I hope Mike Rotundo was watching this and gives Tracy an audit for his 94 tax return.
Yeah.
Then, because we still have time left on the show, White Boy and White Girl walked in with primetime Brian Lee's pants. Again, I wrote, not sure why Brian would be embarrassed since he was wearing his tights underneath the pants. And they plan on making Tammy, I wrote naked, because isn't that her birthday suit?
Yes.
Or they just mean her underwear.
Well, but your birthday suit, I mean, what were you wearing underwear on your birthday, Arya? Your original birthday?
Not to the best of my knowledge. So yeah, so they're vowing to make Tammy naked.
I better get the fuck to Pikeville then, huh?
Yeah. You'll have $10. You'll get to pick up Dirty White Girl, and then take another $10 and go to the Bluegrass Brawl.
You know, I can only get 20s out of the ATM, so things might get really interesting.
I mean, I guess they're doing it before the show. I was going to say, but you could go buy your ticket to the Bluegrass Brawl in advance and thus have $10 change. However, the problem is, and this is where we get really iffy with this going back in time thing, how are you going to get this money? Because if you get some money in 2025 and go back in time, all those 20s are going to say that they were made in 2025 or, sometime somewhat recently. But if you go back in time to 1994, you can't use your ATM card. That's going to get rejected.
But you have to plan for these things. You remember? You ever seen Back to the Future? Doc Brown has the briefcase and he opens up and he has currency for any time and place he might end up. You got to plan for these things as a time traveler, Arya. I would think you would take it a little more seriously and be prepared for these questions.
Oh, okay. Well, I just want to make sure you're prepared because I don't want to have to bail you out of jail and have to try to find early 1990s money.
I'm not going to jail.
Okay, good. Or have you burned at the cross for being a witch?
Well, that's a possibility.
Now, here's the thing. We've acknowledged on this show that Tracy Smothers is friends with Bob Caudle. We've also acknowledged on the show that Bob Caudle is friends with Dutch Mantell. Do you think the three of them ever hang out together?
Bob and Dutch and Tracy?
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't realize it, but that's my dream smoke circle now.
Do you think Bob is always in his suit and tie?
Almost certainly. Almost certainly. I would think so.
Now at the end of the show, you may have heard something interesting. Next week, on this very program, in that very ring, the Dirty White Boy will defend the Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Championship against Killer Kyle. Well, I
Killer
guess it's a good thing.
Kyle,
Yes.
who
I guess it's a good thing
30
Kyle
minutes
lost the
ago,
TV title.
Killer Kyle, who 30 minutes ago got pinned by a guy having his first singles match and 5th match ever.
Yes. His first ever match on TV. He beat Killer Kyle, and now Killer Kyle is wrestling for the Smoky Mountain Heavyweight title next week. And I guess, like I said, it's a good thing Killer Kyle lost the TV title, or he'd have to wrestle twice next week.
This is why Cornette was so hot about AEW having like tracking wins and losses, isn't it?
I'd say yes. And actually, and I just thought about this now. Remember when Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy had the not no holds barred, but the unsanctioned match that Orange Cassidy won, and then the very next week, Adam Cole challenged Adam Page for the AEW title on the pay-per-view. That's what I thought of it. And also, Britt Baker lost the unsanctioned match, wasn't it the Thunder Rosa, and then immediately was named the #1 contender to Hikaru Shida.
Okay, here's the thing with that.
I know it's unsanctioned; they don't count. But
here,
still,
I understand what you're saying though, because I said the exact same thing very quick, and it ended up not becoming a thing after that. But with those incidents in particular, I was like, this is going to become the dumbest fucking booking crutch that you can do shit that doesn't make any sense because it quote unquote doesn't count. But I don't think it has really become that since. But I did think so at the time.
No, because they don't really do them that often. So it's like, the last one I did, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because, especially with modern day wrestling, you have a more of a robot brain than I do. The last one I think they did was Swerve and Hangman in the cage match. That, and Swerve didn't then get a title shot the next month.
No, he fucked off for a little while after that, actually.
I don't remember him fucking off, but I remember him losing to Lashley, and then at some point getting a title shot.
Yeah.
Was it Dynasty or Revolution? Whatever
he got the title shot at Dynasty, but that was months later.
Yeah. But I'm saying it's whatever one that Edge was not getting the title shot at.
Yeah, okay. So Cope got the title shot at Revolution. That was the same show that Swerve beat Ricochet in the #1 contender match. And then that was why Swerve got the title shot at Dynasty.
By the way, 112 down, 88 to go. We are officially 56% of the way through. All right. And what else is happening in the world of wrestling? I mean, we basically told you WrestleMania 10 was the very next day or 3 hours later, depending on where you lived. And actually, it aired Sunday, March 20th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And I still remember that from being a child. It aired at 4 p.m. Eastern. So in theory, if you're in Knoxville, and I think Knoxville is in the Central Time Zone, Smoky Mountain ended at 1 p.m. Central, and then WrestleMania started 2 hours later.
Knoxville is Eastern Time.
Oh, it is? Okay, so 3 hours later, you saw WrestleMania 10. And WrestleMania 10, of course, had two of the best matches in pay-per-view history up to this point. The first Bret Owen match and the first televised Shawn Razor ladder match. And what is not really remembered at this point, but Shawn and Razor had like a dozen house show ladder matches before WrestleMania 10. So, it's not really a first time ever, but first time ever to a mass audience. It's like how Edge's last match was WrestleMania 27, even though he was in a dark match the next night on Raw.
Yeah.
But that never counted. So, by the way, those two matches completely saved the card. And I mean, you could say, I don't say buried the rest of the card, but outdistanced, it lapped the rest of the card. Elsewhere on the card was Bret winning the WWF title for the second time, beating Yokozuna in the main event, and what was arguably the real beginning of Bret Hart as the guy in the WWF.
Yeah. And I always thought that I always thought that Bret had good matches with Yokozuna.
I'm not saying he didn't, but it's like, in my opinion, and obviously you can have your own opinion, although I prefer if you just agreed with everything I said. Um, the third best match on the show, in my opinion, Randy Savage versus Crush in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Oh yeah, I have only seen this whole show once, and it was a long time ago. But yeah, that Falls Count Anywhere match was really fun.
They had the Lex Luger Yokozuna match that went like 16, 17 minutes. Um, it had Atom
Brutal.
Bomb versus Earthquake, which went 30 seconds. Alundra Blaze versus Leilani Kai. Men on a Mission versus the Quebecers. Bam Bam and Luna versus Doink and Dink.
But most
And
unfortunately, I'm
I'm
sorry.
pretty
Go
sure
ahead and
there's something
finish.
I'm forgetting. But
Oh well,
mhm,
most unfortunately, we did not get our 10-man tag with the
no,
Heavenly Bodies and Jeff Jarrett and Bob Holly and whoever the fuck was all in that match.
no. But the Heavenly Bodies weren't in that. It was Rick
Were they?
Martel, Jeff Jarrett, the Head Shrinkers, and it was supposed to be Diesel because Diesel was in the graphic, but he wasn't in. I forget who really it was, but there was some other fifth guy in the back because they angled it out by having the heels backstage argue over who would be the captain.
Yeah,
But in
yeah.
reality, they didn't have the match because they ran out of time.
Okay, the bodies were on the free for all against the Bushwhackers.
Free for all is a strong word. It was an actual dark match, although you could see in the
Oh,
background because Todd Pettin Smell was doing like the countdown show stuff.
okay. My
Um,
records here say free for all. I'll have to look into that.
the free
I'm not
for all,
disagreeing with you.
yeah,
I'm saying this is probably wrong and I need to fix it.
the free for all doesn't technically begin until January of '96.
Okay. See, that's what I was thinking. I was confused
Yeah,
when I found it said free for all. So maybe I just made a typo when I typed this at some point.
maybe wherever you saw it just was incorrect,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
um, yeah, I mean that's really the big news. I didn't really write anything else. I Dave wished someone named Wayne Coulter a congratulations for the birth of their daughter, and I was trying to see if that was Dave wishing Dutch Mantel congratulations, but A, that's not uh, it's not Dutch's real last name, and B, I could not find any proof that that was when his daughter was born.
Huh. Well, surely
But
if his
actually,
daughter's being born, he's not about to fuck off to Puerto Rico right now.
yeah. Back in I think like February '92 when Mick Foley had one of his kids born, Dave congratulated Mick and Colette for their first child or whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah, that would have been Dewey because she was
Yeah.
pregnant with Colette during the whole Lost in. I'm sorry, Colette was pregnant with Noelle during the Lost in Cleveland thing.
That would have been something if she was pregnant with Colette.
I know. I'm sorry. I misspoke.
Yeah. So yeah, that is Smoky Mountain Wrestling, March 19th, 1994. And it's like it we have only 88 shows to go. I uh I know it sounds like a lot, but it's gonna be over before you know it.
Yeah, and then we can watch more wrestling and learn more stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll
We're, we're, we're we still have the gangsters to go.
oh yeah.
That's gonna
We,
be
we
insane.
we need to start a Patreon, but where we'll go back and redo like the first year that I wasn't here for.
Uh, no, we'll do a Patreon where you listen to the first year of shows and react to them.
That might be more Patreon worthy.
That will be steal people's money worthy.
Yeah.
All righty. So yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
I I can't think of anything. We're this is the week after the big week, so everybody's just kind of calming down and coming off of it, hoping for a I hope that Dynamite last week or that Dynamite last night was a good follow-up to the pay-per-view.
Can you imagine? I can't believe what Hangman Page said in his show opening promo yesterday.
I know, you think you know a guy.
I know. Can you believe who came out to challenge him, during that promo?
I didn't know that that person was even out of prison.
Shit. Maybe we need to call Stephen P. New about that one.
I just don't think that they're gonna let Rock and Roll Buck Zumhofe go to England for Forbidden Door.
Oh my God. Can you fucking imagine?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That might be the dumbest joke I've ever made.
I don't know if it's the dumbest, but I mean, it
It's
would be
up
up
there.
there.
It's up
Yes.
there.
By the way, apparently on NXT tonight, Masha Slamovich pinned JC Jane, who, as I noted the other day when I was watching Evolution, JC Jane is a total hottie.
Man, she stays losing though, don't she? Getting
Yeah.
pinned by other companies' champions and thrown out of battle royals. By the way, what did we ever figure out what Zelina had the boo boo face about? Didn't she fucking
I
like
don't.
win or something?
She didn't win, but she went a lot further into that battle royal than I thought when I saw her walking out. I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus H. Christ. The look on her face, I'm like, this bitch is being thrown out first.
Yeah. Who knows?
'Cause she's a baby face and she's got I got to do a job face. And it's like, you know, sorry, you were not in like the top 10 people likely to win that match, Zelina.
I don't. Maybe they
Sorry.
told her she was winning and then told her that who the fuck knows.
Now, by the way, this Sunday at TNA Slammiversary, Masha Slamovich does wrestle JC Jane in a title for title match.
Oh wow, is she what champion is she?
Masha is the TNA Knockouts champion.
No, not her, the other one.
I just want to make sure JC Jane is the NXT Women's Champion,
Okay. So
apparently.
okay. So yeah. JC Jane is gonna win the fucking TNA title because
Yeah.
TNA must be cuckolded as much as possible.
At least we agree on that one. Um, but elsewhere on the show this Sunday from the UBS Arena in Long Island, New York, Trick
Oh,
Williams defends the TNA title against Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. I mentioned this to you earlier in the week. I think they hold off Mike Santana's title win for Bound for Glory. Because
yeah.
that's TNA's MO. Moose versus Leon Slater for the X Division title. I'm sorry, this fucking Moose X Division title reign has gone on way too fucking long. He's been the fucking champion since right after Bound for Glory. For those who think I'm
Oh my
exaggerating.
God. This has got to
Yeah,
be like a fucking record X Division reign, right? Really
it
up there at least.
he's like second behind I think Daniels. Or no,
Wow.
not Daniels, Aries. Aries held the belt for like a year that time when he invented Option C.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Fuck.
yeah. Then we have a four-way ladder match because no matter how old and broken down they are, we have to keep booking the Hardy Boys in ladder matches as
Oh.
it's the Nemeths, the Hardys, the Rascals, and first class AJ Francis and Casey Navarro in a ladder match. And I mean I could be wrong, but I'm thinking AJ wins the belt because it's TNA, so yeah. Tessa.
I
Mhm.
fucking hope the Rascals have their work boots on because they got a lot of shit to do.
Well, no, Nick Nemeth can certainly hold his own.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Tessa Blanchard versus Indy Hartwell. As much as I love Indy, this is a big test for her. I'm not expecting a lot out of this match, but good luck to her. And
Huh.
this should be a fucking banger. A WrestleMania 34 pre-show rematch. Mustafa Ali versus Cedric Alexander.
I was at the WrestleMania 34 pre-show and the main show.
was gonna say you're probably at the main show too. It'd have been weird if
I
you would have left.
was.
Like, you know what? I saw the women's battle royal. That's enough for me. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
And then Ash and Heather by Elegance defending the Knockouts tag team titles against the Inspiration, aka the Iconics.
Who is Heather by Elegance?
Isn't that Heather Reckless?
Okay.
Yeah, Heather Reckless. Um,
Okay.
and I gotta say, like again, my TNA watching has dipped quite a bit in the past year or so. But like Ash by Elegance and the Personal Concierge are like the perfect combination. Like they work really well together. Um,
Huh.
and I gotta say, I still have a mad crush on Cassie Lee, aka Peyton Royce. You know,
Very, very fine lady. Very
yes.
yeah.
And then Masha versus JC. They only have 7 announced matches, but I'm thinking they're gonna add another match or two on Impact this week because the last few pay-per-views since last year's Summerverse have all been 3.5 hours long, and that doesn't seem like 3.5 hours worth of content.
What are the ticket sales looking like for this show? Have you seen?
Apparently pretty good because they just opened up more
Okay.
seats.
All right. Good for them.
But it's pretty good. I'm going to say with an asterisk because they're doing the same thing in the Ryan Center next week for Impact. They're not opening up the entire arena. They're opening up the lower bowl, but just on the hard cam side. And so I'm a little surprised because
Okay.
they're opening up more seats by pushing back the stage. And I'm surprised they're doing that instead of opening up the rest of the lower bowl at the very least.
Well, hey,
But
if it's good for the business if they're drawing, I guess. Yeah.
yeah. And it's kind of weird because it's like and again, I'm the person who says, and I'm sure everyone agrees, TNA is a shit ton better now than it was 15 years ago. But 15 years ago, they had Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam, Sting, Samoa Joe, Booker T, Scott Steiner, Kevin Nash, like every top name you could think of, and they couldn't draw 2,000 people. And
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
basically, as an indie, you know, third level developmental for WWE, now they're doing as good, if not better, pay-per-view buy rates. They're doing a lot better ticket sales. It's weird. Like
Hey.
the story of TNA just keeps getting weirder and weirder the longer this fucking company stays in business.
The cockroach that wouldn't die. It's crazy. It's a story of endurance.
Yeah. And I think when the book eventually gets written about TNA, the cockroach that wouldn't die is the appropriate name for the show or for the book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, almost certainly.
They had 23 years of TNA. They outlived Ring of Honor, which is just, I mean, I'm sorry, they had a money mark. They had somebody whose parents were very willing to let her run a company and were willing to put in a lot of money to let her do it.
You know what? God bless Bunny Marks. Where would the business be without him?
Yeah. And hey, for all the shit, like, Jim Cornette, like at times likes to call Tony Khan a money mark. For all the shit, if Jim Cornette would have gotten, Jim Cornette had a fucking money mark.
Okay, here's my
He had a
thing.
he like okay,
Here's
fine. What's his name? Didn't decide he wanted to lose $10 million, but he had a fucking money mark.
here's what and I'm a bit of a TK apologist. I know, even though I take issues with a lot of the booking, but it's like if Tony Khan is a money mark, so is Ted Turner.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I mean, Ted Turner is far more of a money mark than Tony Khan is. You know.
Yeah, Turner probably lost a hell of a lot more money doing it too.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And the thing is, Turner did not care because, like, ultimately, like, whatever losses WCW had, at least until they got out of control, they were a drop in the hat of the Turner Empire. You
Yeah.
know?
And I mean, like, if I was stupid rich and just had money to do whatever the fuck, I would run some fucking vanity indie cards.
Yeah. I would definitely start Wrestlelicious if I won
That's
Powerball.
delicious, baby. You see that
Wrestlelicious.
we talked about our future projects. I still have not gotten Arya to agree to watch WrestleLicious.
No. It's like 8 episodes.
One of these days, one of these when it's finally time, when we have more than 7 listeners and it's time to launch a Patreon, we'll do WrestleLicious.
Oh my God. I should make a YouTube poll. Do you want Arya to suffer and watch Wrestlelicious?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
it'll have like 98% yes. And we'll do
Yeah.
yes, no, who the fuck is Arya? It'll be 75% who the fuck is Arya. But the other 25% will be all yes.
Yeah.
All right. So that's going to do it for this week's show. Unlike Jeff Jarrett in 1999, this show is over. But that's the line I wanted to say yesterday, by the way. But that's
Okay.
going to do it for this week's show. Thank you all for listening. Hope you all enjoyed the show. We'll talk again in 7 days.
Bye.